Well, we always say retirement is a journey, one that you shouldn't have to navigate solo. So that is why every week here on The Right Path to Retirement, we turn to financial advisor Jimmy Lin, certified financial planner and the founder of Right Path Wealth Management right here in Las Vegas. So when you're close to retirement, Jimmy, mistakes like that do not just show up on a statement. They show up in real life. And I think that fear of getting it wrong is part of why so many people do not feel ready to retire at all right now. I saw a new survey by the TIAA that said nearly 2/3 of Americans say retiring between the ages of 65 and 70 is unattainable. They're planning to work until they physically cannot work any longer. And what is their number one reason for this? Replacing the guaranteed income that their job provided because Social Security is not enough. So, Jimmy, for our listeners who have saved, but they still do not think it's enough, what do you say to those people?
Well, I say to those people that they're not alone. That is probably the number one common fear when people are coming into our office is that they want to make sure that they never run out of money. And quite honestly, it doesn't matter how much you have in your retirement accounts, in that 401k or TSP, everybody still has that same type of anxiety. And it's really comes down to uncertainty. Right? We don't know what healthcare costs are going to be 20, 30 years from now. We don't know what our health is going to be. Are we going to need long-term care? Our tax is going to eat away at everything that we've worked so hard to save. So there's a lot of uncertainty, which makes people just try to push a few years more of working to try to save for retirement because they just lack that confidence. And a big piece of it is they don't have an income plan. Mm-hmm. So there's not a good understanding of, I have this Social Security check coming in every month. I know this Social Security check isn't covering all my bills. So how do I know that everything else I saved is going to allow me to pay all my bills? And that is such a common theme when people are coming to our office. And that's the purpose of having a plan. I mean, I can't tell you how many people we help every single week where they're coming in and it's just a bunch of statements. They're coming in with a pile of statements, but there's no real strategy. And being able to get that clarity of where I can actually be in retirement. How do I know that these assets that I've saved up are actually going to turn into income in retirement? But Casey, doesn't happen without a plan. That's why we are a planning first firm, because we've had situations where, just this week, I had a client come in and, they had their retirement statements and they had their Social Security, but they just said, there's no way I can retire. I don't see a path forward. And the reason for that feeling was just fear in the market. Mm-hmm. They just felt like, how can I rely on the stock market that is going up and down every single day? I don't know, how I can take money to pay my bills or take a vacation. Now, we utilize a bucketing strategy to basically ensure that in all market conditions, we have a place where we can pull money from. And that type of strategizing and planning it out over decades allows more confidence for people. So I would say that, those people that are out there that think that it's not possible, talk to somebody who works in this field, because you would be surprised with the proper planning, what you can do with your resources.
Well, when people come into your office, Jimmy, and tell you, I just don't think I have enough, I don't see a way forward, like your client you were just talking about, how often would you say that fear is driven by uncertainty versus the actual numbers on paper for them?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely the majority of the time is people coming in and there's just no plan. And so they're just reading headlines on social media, and there's fear, and it's understandably so. We live in a society where headlines sell, and so people come in fearful. But you should also be concerned if you don't have a plan, because you don't want to go into retirement, just winging it. You want to have some clarity on where is my income going to be coming from over the next 10 years to cover things like bills, healthcare, and vacations. And so it is a true concern that people should have if you don't have a plan. But I would say that once they're able to kind of dig through their papers and kind of understand what their resources can actually do, a great majority of the time, we are able to help them see that path forward. And that's all it is our goal here is really just to provide clarity for people, because people are they're lost in a sea of information. There's so many strategies that come in when you're online or you're watching the news, you're reading articles. Everybody has a different strategy, and it's never a cookie cutter, one size fits all. I have a client that is always coming in, and I love her to death. She's always coming in though saying, I heard this and I'm concerned about this, this tax strategy, this investment. And I tell her, these people, they're talking to the masses. They're trying to talk to 1 million people, hoping that a handful of them will have fear and reach out. And really, that's a very broad-based, casting a wide net approach. You really need somebody to look at your situation and provide you with clarity there. And when I'm able to talk her through that, she always leaves with a sense of relief. So I would say that there is reality to it, but you just need somebody that you rely on in your life to talk you through some of the stuff.
Can you talk a little bit more about that relief you were talking about with just that particular client, and what changes for people once they see their income actually mapped out month by month for them, instead of just looking at their big balance and not seeing a way forward? What kind of changes or shifts do you see in them once they have an actual plan set in place and they see it mapped out in front of them?
Yeah, for sure. And with this particular client, I mean, again, I love her to death. And I just realized that the fear of kind of the media that's been created. So she's constantly hearing things about, I need to do this tax strategy, or you need to be invested in this, mutual fund because it's paying these guaranteed dividends coming out. And it's for her, she's like, I just want to be able to, save for my kids' college funds, or I want to be able to take them on a trip. And I want to do things for myself, like spend time with my girlfriends. And so she just wants to do all the fun stuff, but it's almost like she's frozen, afraid to make a move just because of all the headlines that she reads. And so what we simply do is like we go line by line, because on her face, I see so much anxiety. Again, no fault of her own. It's just the world that we live in now. But I tell her, you're not leaving this office until I know that all these different areas that you've seen and you're concerned about, we're going to go line by line and check off every single one of them. Are you comfortable here? Do you understand why you have this specific plan? And once we're able to map these things out, and I'll go over with her 100 times if I have to. Now, to be fair, she usually comes back in with another stack of questions that creates more anxiety. And we'll go through the same process again. But every time we go through it, because I tell her, this is what we do. This is what we do every day. You're the type of clients that we help. These are the strategies that we implement. So make sure that you have a plan for you. Don't listen to a guru that's talking to the masses.
Jimmy, that is all the time we have for today here on The Right Path to Retirement. We appreciate you breaking it down for us as always. And you and I will be back with more retirement insight for Las Vegas. But until then, I'm going to hand it back over to you to take us out.
Yeah, I enjoyed being here again. And everybody, if you're in that stage where you're going into retirement, don't go at it alone. Give us a call and we'll put you on that right path.
That is going to do it for us this week. We will be back next week, same time, same place, with more great insight from certified financial planner Jimmy Lin here on The Right Path to Retirement. Take care.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Right Path Wealth Management. Right Path Wealth Management is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Right Path Wealth Management are not subject to investment advisory requirements. Investing involves risk, including potential loss of principal. Any reference to the protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing carrier. This radio podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It's not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decision, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Right Path Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Right Path Wealth Management.
Market Guard is a firm that provides investment signals as well as portfolio allocation recommendations, wide variety of model portfolios. Market Guard does not offer advice or enter into fiduciary relationships.